Howdy y'all, hope each and every one of y'all is doing well today. As you can see, we got some severe weather to talk about as we have an enhanced risk issued over Iowa, parts of Illinois, and parts of Missouri with a slight and marginal risk surrounding that. Now, all hazards are possible today with a pretty significant chance for tornadoes, as there is a 10% hatched area centered over Iowa, Illinois, and parts of Missouri, and a 5 and 2% chance surrounding that. Now, keep in mind, even though if you're under the lower end threat for tornadoes, you can still get in on a pretty significant tornado, and even if you're under the 10% hatched area, which means that an EF2 or greater long track tornado is going to be possible, you can still not even get in on that tornado. So definitely keep that in mind and make sure whatever color zone you are under here, just make sure you are hyper weather aware, have a way to get alerted, and know where to go when that tornado warning gets issued. Storm shelter, basement, closet, interior room without windows, and if the house is not sturdy enough for a tornado, make sure you leave the house and go somewhere that is sturdy enough to withstand a tornado. Now, other than tornadoes, we got a damaging wind threat to talk about. There's a 15% here in the yellow and a 5% in the red. As far as large hail threat goes, that's the biggest threat of the three, as there's a 30% and a 15% hatched area over Iowa, Missouri, and Illinois, and a regular 15 and 5% which surrounds that. Now, as we move off into hump day, we can see that there is a slight risk over Indiana, Ohio, and Michigan. The marginal risk, which extends all the way down into Alabama and Mississippi and includes Kansas and Nebraska. All hazards are possible again tomorrow, as there is a 5% chance for tornadoes over here in Ohio, Indiana, and Michigan, and a 2% which extends all the way down into Kentucky. I wouldn't be surprised if they up that risk to an enhanced risk, but regardless, make sure you're hyper weather aware tomorrow. Damaging wind threat goes, we can see that there is a 5% chance, slowest threat of the three. Large hail threat, we can see there is a 15% chance over Indiana, Ohio, and Michigan. And it's looking like over here in Kansas and Nebraska, that is the only threat y'all got to worry about tomorrow. As far as Thursday goes, we don't know the main risks just yet, but there is a slight risk which extends from Texas all the way up into southwestern Indiana, with of course a marginal risk which extends from Ohio down into southwestern Texas. So make sure you follow my social media pages, X and Facebook. I'll have links to those in the description down below. I do daily weather updates on there. I'm trying to do daily weather update videos, so make sure you go follow those, as I will let y'all know what the hazards are going to be. Now, although we don't know what the risks are going to be, we're still going to get into the timing. So let's go ahead, get into the timing when you could expect the worst of severe weather for the next 3 days. And I forgot to mention that there is also a flooding threat to talk about, as well as there's a slight risk over Nebraska and South Dakota, and a marginal risk for the next couple of days after that. I would expect upwards of 1 to 3 inches within all these zones here. So make sure you are aware of flooding if you live in a low-lying area. See a flooded roadway, of course, turn around and do not drown. So now let's go ahead and get into the timing of when you could expect the worst severe weather for the next 3 days. We're going to take a look at the HRRR for this. Is the highest resolution model that you can go with. Keep in mind that date time's up here if you ever want to keep track. As we can see, through the early afternoon hours, we can see we have some just general thunderstorms occurring, and then it's going to start to turn severe as we head into right around 2 or 3 o'clock. As we head into 4 or 5 o'clock, we're going to have some clusters of storms turning more linear as we head further into the day. Could turn tornadic by right around 5 o'clock. This is in Eastern time, of course. Maybe right around 4 o'clock Central. As we head into right around 6, 7 o'clock, going to mainly turn to a high wind threat by this time before getting out of the enhanced risk zone by right around midnight. So I would expect the worst of severe weather to occur from right around 4 o'clock through right around 8 o'clock. 8, 9 o'clock is when I would expect the worst. Now, as far as the wind gusts go, before we take a look at the tornadic parameters, we can see right around 4 o'clock when storms are going to start to fire up. Could be dealing with upwards of 40 to 50 mile an hour wind gusts, so definitely be aware of power outages. Could be dealing with upwards of 60 mile an hour winds too, so definitely be aware of power outages. Put up anything you don't want damage from large hail, and make sure you put up anything you don't want blown around from high winds. As far as the tornadic parameters go, if you're new here, tornadic parameters basically puts all the ingredients for tornadic activity into one run of where you could possibly see a tornado at. That don't mean a tornado is going to happen within that whole zone. It just means that the ingredients are favorable for tornadic activity. So you see right around 4 o'clock, when we're dealing with a 2.5 out of 10 up here in northern Missouri. That's the greatest chance of seeing a tornado. You can see that's within that 10% hatched area, and we can see it right around this time. There's going to be some clusters of storms firing up as well, so definitely, again, if you live within any of these colored zones, make sure you are hyper weather aware again. Know where to go when that tornado warning is issued. Make sure you seek shelter in a basement, closet, storm shelter, room without windows. If your house can't withstand a tornado, make sure you leave the house and go somewhere that can withstand a tornado, as it's looking like from 4 o'clock through 8 o'clock when the worst severe is going to be occurring here on Tuesday. Now let's go ahead and get into that timing for hump day. We're going to have to go to the 12Z HRRR. I don't like using the name 3 kilometer. It's just too messy. I like simplifying it for y'all. Now, as we push this towards hump day, we can see we're going to be dealing with early morning showers and thunderstorms. That's going to start to clear out a little bit, destabilize the atmosphere before we're going to be dealing with some severe weather through the early afternoon hours by Fort Wayne. This is when our damaging wind threat's going to be coming into play, although that's the lowest threat of the three, really. We're doing large hail as well. Looking like right around 2 to 4 from Fort Wayne to Toledo, and then from Toledo to Cleveland, right around 4 o'clock through right around 8 o'clock is when I would expect the worst severe weather on hump day. We take a look at the wind gusts first before we take a look at the tornadic parameters. Push this back to 2 o'clock, actually 3 o'clock actually. We can see that we're going to be dealing with upwards of almost 50 mile an hour wind gusts, almost 60 in some areas, from Fort Wayne to Toledo. And as this line pushes eastward, expect about the same. So definitely watch out for power outages and make sure you put anything up you don't want blown around from high winds and damage from large hail tomorrow as well. Take a look at the significant tornadic parameters right around this time. We can see over by Toledo, almost a 1 out of 10. Definitely a lower end threat compared to here on Tuesday, but like I said earlier, strong tornadoes can happen on low end days, so be aware of this. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the timing of when you could expect the worst of severe weather here on Thursday. We don't know the main hazards, so make sure you go follow my X and Facebook pages as I do daily weather updates on there. Links will be in the description down below. To take a look at this, we're going to have to take a look at the Euro model and take a look at the lightning flash density rate. This shows us where the most intense storms could fire up at. Push this to Thursday. We already know Tuesday and Wednesday's time frames. Tuesday is going to be from right around 4 o'clock through 8 o'clock Eastern time. And on hump day, I would expect from 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock from Fort Wayne to Toledo, and from Toledo to Cleveland from right around 4 o'clock through 8 o'clock. And here on Thursday, I would expect the worst of severe weather to occur from right around 2 o'clock through right around 4 o'clock, before it starts getting out of the area by around 10 o'clock. But I will obviously have further updates on this as we get closer to Thursday's event. And I also want to show you all surface cape. This shows us our thunderstorm fuel heading into Thursday, and even more significant atmosphere, 3,200 joules per kilogram. So definitely a pretty significant atmosphere to work with on Thursday. But of course, I will have further updates on X and Facebook, so make sure you follow those pages for further updates. Now let's go ahead and get into the forecast for the next couple weeks of what you could expect. I want to take a look at the simulated radar. Is what we're going to look at. Keep in mind that date and time's up above my head. I forgot to mention that earlier. See, we got our severe weather, as it's going to be a low pressure system. It's going to be bringing high winds, tornadoes, and large hail through Thursday. It's going to push off into the northeast, bring more heavy rainfall through the weekend. See, we're going to have a little bit of a trough by the weekend. It's going to be bringing some chilly air potentially, and some snowfall over here by Nebraska and Wyoming and South Dakota, and some severe thunderstorms down by Texas by Sunday. It's going to push eastward and bring more severe weather potentially from the Panhandle of Florida and down in southern Louisiana. Heavy rainfall for much of the east coast. And then we're going to be drying out west, becoming soggy amongst the Midwest before it starts drying out drastically before another system starts rolling through by the end of the month. As we take a look at the Climate Prediction Center's 6 to 10 day precipitation outlook, we can see that from Colorado down into Texas, up into the Carolinas and Virginia, down into Florida, it's looking like we're going to be dealing with above average precipitation, while the rest of the country is going to be near normal to below average up here in the northeast and the northwest. Up here in Minnesota and North Dakota is going to be above average. Next 8 to 14 days, we head towards the end of the month. That's looking like we're going to be dealing with an above average to near normal precipitation pattern. So that's good for those Mayflowers, because April showers bring May flowers. Now let's get into the temperatures. As I was showing earlier, that we could be coming in on a major cool down this weekend. Let's go and take a look at that. We know we've been pretty nice here as of late. You can see I got some sun. It's been pretty nice out there, soaking in that vitamin D. It'll remain warm for the next 3 days. That's going to be causing that severe weather. You can see you got cold here, warm here. Cold air and warm air don't get along. And then as we head closer to the weekend, you can see a little cold front coming through. It's going to drop those temperatures drastically down into the 30s and 40s. Make sure you cover up those plants. Hopefully y'all didn't plant anything yet. I wouldn't plant anything until at least the end of this month and the next month. See, this weekend's going to be really cold. We're dealing with severe weather down here in central Texas by this time, potentially. But don't worry, though. It's going to warm up drastically next week. So definitely going to be coming into a cold period. And then we're going to be warming back up. But if y'all like cold temperatures, then I guess that's something to look forward to. I don't like cold temperatures. You're crazy if you like the cold air. But take a look at the temperature anomalies. That shows us our above or below average temperature patterns. We can see dealing with the way above average temperatures. Below average temperatures in the northwest. It's going to drastically change as we head into the weekends. We're going to be transitioning from warm air to cold air, back into the warm air. See, head into next week. We're still going to remain below average, but we're going to be heading back into that warm up though. The western part of the country is going to be coming into a drastic warm up as shown here. See, way above average temperatures is going to be expected next week. Now, as we take a look at the Climate Prediction Center, they are saying the exact same thing I'm saying, with below average temperatures expected for really much the eastern half of the country, because we're going to come into a warm up and then a cool down and then back into a warm up from the 21st and the 25th. Way above average temperatures expected down in Florida and out west. But then as we head into next week, the next 8 to 14 days, looks like much of the country is going to be heading into this well above average temperature pattern, except for over here in California and Arizona. So definitely, if you love the warm air and you've been enjoying these nice warm temperatures coming out of that this weekend, unfortunately, but don't worry, we're going to be coming back into this warming trend. We head into May. Potentially. So I hope y'all liked today's weather forecast. If you did, make sure you hit that like and share button so more folks are informed about the weather. And if you want to leave me any feedback, leave it in the comment section down below the video. I appreciate everybody who leaves me any feedback, because feedback helps provide you, the viewer, better and more informative content in the future. If you liked the video and haven't yet subscribed, what are you doing? Subscribe down below. Make sure you hit the bell notification so you never miss an upload. Because here at Williams Weather, we try to make weather forecasting fun and informative. And we do weekly and monthly weather forecasts just like this one. So again, make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. Again, appreciate each and every one of y'all for tuning in. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, never stop forecasting.